All right, y'all. So we need to talk about some women's basketball because I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels like it would be a crime not to, especially after what we just saw last night in the NCAA and the Elite Eight with women's basketball. So let's talk about it. And women's hoops has been thriving a lot lately. Like I feel like this really started last year when people started to first get glimpses of Caitlin Clark and of Angel Reese and of these and of South Carolina, like all these teams that were doing great things, right? Um, and I think that it really like that NCAA championship game last year. I think that really opened a lot of people's eyes to women's basketball and everything like that. And then people saw the Las Vegas Aces literally making a super team, and they saw Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart on the New York Liberty. They saw all that. They saw that finals team. They saw all of that. But I think this year's taken a whole nother leap. And to me, this year it started when the WNBA received a lot of attention simply because of one person, and that one person was Sabrina Ionescu. Is that how you say her name? Ionescu. I hope I'm saying it right. I don't want to be disrespectful, but Sabrina Ionescu, bro, she was not okay. Let's talk about her. So not only did a lot of people, a lot of men especially, love her signature shoe. Like to me, they looked a lot like Kobe's when I first saw them. And a lot of people loved them. I even liked them, and I think a lot of people actually like think they're comfortable and think they're good to play in. I haven't been hooping much, so I have no idea. I don't even have a pair of them, but I think they look good. So, and if people think they're good to hoop in, then that's perfect because that's literally what the purpose of them is. Um, and the NBA had a genius marketing plan with that Steph versus Sabrina shootout on All Star Weekend, bro. Like, I believe that performed better than the NBA ever could have expected it to because not only did she show out, but Steph showed out. So it was like it made it the most memorable thing that happened in All Star Weekend for most people. Like if you watched any of the events from Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Actually, I don't think there is any Friday night, or is that the celebrity game? Yeah, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night from this year's NBA All Star Game. If you watched any of the stuff from that weekend, the thing you probably remember the most is that Steph versus Sabrina shootout, and I think that was huge for the NBA, but also just even bigger for the WNBA. And not only did she shoot from the NBA line, so people could say, well, she's using a WNBA ball that's lighter and the 3 point line is closer, blah blah blah. Not only did she shoot from the NBA line, just so people couldn't say that, I genuinely believe that if you go look at the numbers alone, she performed better than any other shooter in that whole weekend, including Dame, who won the 3 point contest, and Steph, who beat her. She performed better than everybody in that whole weekend from shooting the ball, except for Steph Curry. Everybody like. She scored either 27, 26, I can't remember 28, it was something like that, and I think Dame had 26 to win. So it was like she was literally up there, and keep in mind that she was shooting from the NBA range. So she wasn't like I mean, yes, she was using WNBA ball, but bro, the NBA ball is heavier, it's bigger. You can't expect her. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be hating, bro. She did better than anyone could have ever expected. I think she did. She did so well that I think that's going to bring the WNBA a lot of money for this upcoming season this summer. So I think that was perfect for the WNBA. That brought a lot of attention to the game and everything like that. And she put up a genuine fight against the greatest shooter God has ever created. And it was in front of the whole world and a weekend where the whole world was watching. And I think the whole world took notice. Like even women's hoops haters, WNBA haters, NCAA college women's basketball haters, they had to recognize that, okay, Sabrina went out there and she balled out. Like that woman right there shot better than literally everyone that weekend, not named Steph Curry. And Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. So like she impressed a lot of people. She impressed me. Um, and I knew Steph was gonna win, right? Like it is the greatest shooter of all time. But bro, she went out there in that first round and she was barely missing. I was like, okay, Steph, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? He won, but she went out there and she did beautifully for the WNBA and for the NBA. I think Adam Silver, I think the WNBA, they're all gonna be very very happy about that. And then we move over to NCAA women's basketball, right? And a lot of people are saying that literally, if you go look at NBA Twitter, basketball Twitter, a lot of people are saying that this year's women's tournament has been better than this year's men's tournament has for college. And I don't know. I haven't watched much of either tournament. I'm not gonna lie to you because like my bracket was gone after. I think it was when Utah collapsed against Dayton. That was when my bracket was gone, and I was like, all right, bro, like y'all did not just have that collapse. And I remember watching that game, I was pissed. I was in a hotel room, I was so mad. So I didn't really watch too much after that. Um, like I had Duke winning, going to like the Final Four or something like that, and they just lost to NC State. Like I didn't have that. I had Purdue losing to Gonzaga, and Zach. Well, because I thought Zach Edey was going to be the same Zach. This isn't a men's college basketball video. Anyway, what I'm saying is a lot of people thought that the WNBA, the women's college basketball March Madness tournament was better than the men's one this year, and Last night, I think last night got a lot more publicity, a lot more views, was a lot more interesting than any night of the men's tournament that we've had this year. And that was big for not only all of these players and these teams and their money, their brand and all that, but it was good for it was good for college women's basketball. It was good for the WNBA because most of these guys will be in the WNBA next year. So great publicity for all that. And let's talk about what we saw last night. So we saw literally the four biggest teams in women's college basketball facing off against each other. All of them. Like, it was two great games. It was four great teams. It was four generational players. So, and then literally the round before that, we saw another big name team. We saw Cameron Brink and Stanford. You know what I'm saying? They were out there and they got eliminated, but Cameron Brink got a lot of attention too. So we saw a lot of women getting a lot of attention in women's basketball over the past week or so. And to me, let's just start with the biggest game. It was LSU Iowa. To me, the most highly publicized names in college basketball right now, not just the teams, but Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese individually, I believe are the two biggest, most recognizable faces in women's college basketball right now. And then right after that, we saw USC and UConn, another two of the biggest, most historical women's college hoops franchises, right? Teams, well, not franchises, it's not professional, but schools, right? Another two of those, and they face off. And these are teams that are good for women and men. LSU, great football school. Iowa's a good football school. You know what I'm saying? These are big schools. And then UConn is cold. UConn and USC are cold for both women's and men's basketball. Historically, USC wasn't good this year for men, but historically, we know what USC is, right? So these are big name schools, big name teams, big name players that are getting a lot of publicity for the women's tournament, and neither one of these games disappointed. Both games were close. The stars for each team showed out, and this was literally in the Elite Eight. The only way this could have been better was if these were the two Final Four games. That would have been the only way that this would have gotten even more publicity. But these were two of the Elite Eight games, and then after this, we literally are going to see Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers. I think that's how you say her name. Please let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I don't know if it's I think it's Beckers, but I don't know. I've heard her name pronounced different ways, and I, to this day, have no idea which one is right, so let me know. But we're going to see her versus Caitlin Clark in the Final Four because of the outcomes of last night, and it's just that's amazing, bro. But anyway, let's talk about last night's games. So, LSU versus Iowa. The game was tied at halftime. It was tied at 44. Iowa picked up the win, getting revenge for last year's national championship game, right? That's already a big storyline in and of itself. But then you have Angel Reese, who went out there and put up 17 points and 20 boards. And then you have Caitlin Clark, who was out there looking like Steph Curry reincarnated. You got people on Twitter talking about, well, we've never seen Caitlin Clark and Steph Curry in the same room. Maybe that's him. You know what I'm saying? She was out there balling. She put up 41 points while hitting 9 of 23s. 9 of 20. That is almost 50% from three-point range while shooting 23s in an Elite Eight game. Let's not ignore that. And she had 12 assists and 7 boards as well. So she damn near put up a triple-double on top of hitting 9 threes and scoring 41 points. And then we had USC versus UConn. Also a great game. We saw Juju Watkins, who is a freshman phenom right now, and Paige Beckers, again, if I'm saying the name wrong, please let me know. But Paige Beckers, we saw them both ball out. Juju put up 29 points, 10 boards. Keep in mind, that is a freshman. She hooped. She was balling out, led her team to the Elite Eight. There was a game this year where I think USC scored 60-something points, and she had 50-something of them. It was excuse me? That's not normal. And then Paige dropped 28, 10, and 6, and literally she damn near dropped a triple-double, and we all know about how she tore her ACL, missed all of last season, you know what I'm saying? If this was WNBA and they had a comeback player of the year award like the NFL does, she would have won that award, because she literally tore her ACL, missed all of last season, is out here balling, has her team in the Final Four right now, going against the biggest name in women's college basketball. And to me, it's just that I felt like this needed to be talked about. These women are doing great things for not only women's basketball, but just for basketball in general. This is getting more women into basketball in general. This is getting more men like me. This is getting more diehard NBA fans into the WNBA, getting excited for the WNBA. This is getting college men's fans excited for college women's games, because now that we've got these guys, it's okay, well, now that they're most of these guys, I assume Paige, Angel, and Caitlin Clark will all go to the WNBA, but I'm not sure because they're making more money with NIL and everything, so I don't know. But I'm going to say I assume they will. So that's going to get guys excited to watch the WNBA, because we already got Sabrina in there. We already got the Las Vegas Aces in their hoop, and we already got a lot of these big-name people in the WNBA who we all know. And then we have even bigger names coming in. So I think all of these women are doing great things for the sport. It's good for the WNBA. It's good for the NBA. It's good for both men's and women's college basketball. this is exactly the type of publicity that I believe the WNBA needs. And this is how like you know how when you have guys like Zion, John Morant, you have all these guys coming from college to the NBA, that makes people excited for the next NBA season. These players right here and players like them in the future are going to do the same thing before the WNBA, and that is exactly what the WNBA needs to be a profitable company finally. Especially because like these guys, like Haley Van Lith, right? Like all these people are literally, they have like personalities outside of basketball. Like people know them on TikTok, people know them on social media, people know Angel Reese on TikTok, everything like that. People know Haley Van Lith, they know Caitlin Clark, they think Caitlin Clark is like a killer, you know what I'm saying? Like people know Juju Watkins, they see the edits, at least I do. I'm seeing the edits of these girls on Twitter and they're hooping. I'm seeing it on TikTok, like, so they're getting players that are popular both with basketball and without basketball, and that's great for them. I think that is going to do wonderful things for the WNBA, because the more money the WNBA makes, the more money that the players can get paid, so that way that pay gap can get a little more, you know what I'm saying, can get better, because it's hard for them to get paid more when they're not making enough money, right? But now with these players coming in, they should be making even more money, and that's going to continue in the future as players continue to get more talented, as TikTok and all these things, Twitter, as social media continues to be big, their names will be big. So this will be big for the WNBA. I think this will finally help that pay gap get a lot better, because like I said, the WNBA has to make money in order for the players to make money. These are the type of players, these are the type of personalities that are going to help the WNBA do that. And I just feel like this needed to be talked about. Like I said, this is a channel where I'm talking about a lot of different sports, and the basketball is the main one, and it would feel disrespectful to leave out women's hoops with all that's going on in women's hoops right now. So definitely respect to all these players, and then to the players that are already in the WNBA, like the Sabrina Ionessus, the Brianna Stewarts, the Asia Wilsons, all these guys, and respect to the people that came before them, like the Candace Parkers, the Diana Taurasi's, all these people. So yeah, I hope y'all liked this video. I don't know how many of y'all are interested in women's hoops or anything like that, but hopefully you start getting more interested in it, because if you didn't watch LSU Iowa last night, it's a great game. Both of those games were great last night, so I hope you start getting into it if you're not into it already. But please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, helps the channel out a lot. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Just stay blessed, stay praying, and yeah, love y'all.